Cunt, considered the most vulgar word in the English language. But why? Where does this word come from? For thousands of years, this word described the goddesses of the yoni in ancient India, powerful priestesses in old Europe, and endless other feminine divinities throughout the world. During the rise of Christianity, this word became the signature of evil. Those who knew herbalism, midwifery, the cycles of the womb and earth were written off as evil and barbaric. Millions were sentenced to death in one of the largest femicides in history. Humanity lost millennia of wisdom with the death of those 9 million killed, and their killers went on to colonize the entire planet, committing genocide of indigenous peoples on every continent. The shamans, healers, and wise elders of these societies devoted to nature became myth, legend, and evil folklore we tell to children for fun. Their history and wisdom lost, and the story of the patriarchal colonizing victor glorified. Now, the planet is burning, and our survival depends upon living in harmony with the womb and nature once again. Now, more than ever, we have become the key to our survival. Yes, us. But who are we? We are cunts. In today's modern world, they call us witches, queers, mentally ill, bitches. And we are stepping back into our power to rebirth womb and earth-centered value-based societies once again. A Cuntopia. And we are Cuntopians. We have gone into the shadows, but we are still here. They have desecrated our temples, terrorized our ancestors, but they cannot destroy us. We are Cuntopians. We are agender, trans, or multi-gendered people the ancients considered sacred ceremony leaders. We are womb holders. We believe the collective and equitable ownership of resources is the natural way. We are neurodivergent. We are shamanic. We are the biggest threat to the cis heteronormative patriarchy the world has seen in centuries. We are not here to fight the patriarchy with fists, but to build a movement driven by the mass awakening in people's hearts who yearn to reconnect to our ancient humanity, to who we were before we forgot, to reconnect with our wild. To return to a womb and earth-centric value system, to save the sanctity of human life. We are the leaders missing from your ballots, your movies, leadership in your communities, and preachers leading our communities or preaching spirituality. They silence us by calling us crazy, hormonal, hysterical, evil, gay, socially unacceptable, lazy, too much, not enough, mentally ill, sick, or lunatics. The truth is, we are witches awakening, and nothing can stop us. In our communities, we are activists, artists, and revolutionaries. Many are budding spiritual leaders, healers, psychologists, and therapists. We are entrepreneurs, business owners, mentors, coaches, and instructors stepping up. But so many of us are lone rangers paving the way for people like us. And many of us have heard the call to be leaders in our communities, and yet the cards are stacked so high against us. The truth is, we need help. We can't do it alone. Today, 1 in 4 of us with wombs are being policed into a fear state through the use of sexual assault, and 4 out of 5 through the use of sex-based harassment. We make up 70% of those in poverty. Only 21% of people with a disability or neurodivergence are employed, and 1 in 3 people live with a disability. Trans people are twice as likely to be unemployed. This means about 84 million Americans are written off as too broken to add value to society in a way that is worth compensation. We are outcast, shamed, written off as hormonal, crazy, weird, hysterical, freaks, mentally ill, unstable, sinners, evil, or burden. Modern day witch burning. We are leaders who face pretty intense financial and social discrimination that often keeps us from accessing the tools, experiences, and resources we need to step up as the true leaders we are within our communities. If you want more Cuntopian leaders out there in your community and around the world, we need your financial and social support to keep Cuntopia, the gathering, alive. Last year, 25 of us queer, neurodivergent, womb-holding powerhouse Cuntopians gathered in nature at our first leadership summit for just 1 week, and our lives changed forever. It took only 1 week in a queer, neurodivergent, womb-holding utopia to actually see what society could look like if we just throw out the harmful narrative that there's something wrong with us and remember our collective spiritual power and potential to change the world. We're done fighting the system we hate, and instead, we're ready to get to work building the systems we want. Cuntopia, the gathering, gave us access to an experience, resources, and community that someone looking to lead a movement, business, healing modality, or activism needs, but is often reserved for wealthy business executives at mastermind retreats. It gives us so much joy that our future leaders were able to access things like regular ongoing virtual and in-person connection with the Cuntopian community, expert advice and workshops in writing 30-year manifestations and business plans, cyclical living coaching for living in alignment with purpose and optimizing mental, spiritual, and emotional health, collective thought leadership development, the experience of witnessing the centering of trans, neurodivergent, disabled, BIPOC, and womb holders' wisdom and experiences by being a part of this community, a chance for budding leaders to teach a workshop with on-site training and receive feedback from the community who shares our values and struggles, mindset coaching specifically for those dealing with internalized oppressive beliefs, business strategies for people who are neurodivergent and or disabled, a chance to travel, connect deeply with nature, de-stress, and enjoy the freedom of living, dancing, connecting in music and ceremony. With the explosion of these life-changing transitions Cuntopia made possible, our Cuntopian leaders continued on after the event to do things such as start their own living water business, run monthly Cunt Mic Nights, live, dance, and teach dance in New York City, host their own Kundalini healing retreat in California, host 4 of their own retreats in Vermont leading BIPOC land initiatives, engaged in a reality TV show contract, became a part of Essence's leadership team, hosted large-scale events for the government, led trans and queer inclusive sexual and pleasure health initiatives, ran an acro, yoga, yoni, and menstrual health coaching program, opened a design shop, ran a sex and intimacy coaching online business, continued play therapy for neurodivergent children in clinical settings. Life-changing for so many queer, neurodivergent, womb-holding leaders and their communities, Cuntopia needs your help to be sustainable because we cannot be accessible with a $1,400 price tag per person. Last year, we managed to make $16,000 in ticket sales, despite almost every attendee having some form of scholarship. The event costs totaled around $25,000, leaving the event to fall short by about $9,000. And yet we pulled it off, pooling resources available to cover costs from our own pockets and businesses because we believe in this work so much. And we realize that we must take steps towards a crowdfunding model in order to keep this event going in a way that is both financially sustainable and accessible. This year, we came up with a financial model that allows leaders to pick a pricing tier accessible to them and gives them a chance to collectively fundraise the rest of the funds as a group leadership exercise. This model does not include volunteer positions or a hierarchy of workshop presenters. This model is an attempt to exist outside the oppressive capitalist models that depend on exchange rather than trust in the collective's capacity to contribute all we need. This means everyone pools the resources they can. Everyone chips into the planning and execution of the event, contributing their skill sets as best they can. And everyone works together to spread the word to our wider communities to garner the remaining financial support we need. This year, we have 33 Cuntopian slots open and have filled 30 of them so far. The total costs this year will be an estimated $45,000, and our 30 Cuntopians have so far pledged $20,000 of their own resources. This means we need your help to raise the remaining $25,000, or about $900 per Cuntopian. Your donations will cover the $1,400 cost per person for room, board, meals for 9 days. It'll help cover access to travel experiences, musicians, workshops, and expert guidance and mentorship. Opportunity to teach workshops, receive feedback, and marketing materials to kickstart their own business. Mentorship and guidance on 30-year goals and business plans. Flights for those most impacted by the prohibitive costs of travel. Equipment and materials for the event, workshop, and activities. The production team's time for event planning and reimbursement costs. Out-of-pocket production investments from last year to make the event sustainable. You are not just funding a leadership summit, you are funding a movement towards the type of system we are all hoping for. Donate to the GoFundMe campaign by clicking the donate button on our GoFundMe page. If you want to support us but a donation is prohibitive for you at this time, please comment with 4 or more words, save our posts, and reshare them regularly to help widen our audience in the algorithm as much as possible. Share a link to the donation page with at least one friend or family member with a personal recommendation to listen to our story. Send positive energy and encouragement to any and all Cuntopians past and present. Finally, remember, people need to see something an average of 7 times before they will take action. If you share our post, work, or link 7 times, you will increase our chances that others will take action towards donating to the cause. We know you crave this kind of system. We know you seek to see these kinds of leaders represented in your communities too. So help us build this vision. Help us build not just a better future for attendees stepping into their leadership potential, but help every future client, business, industry, employee, family, and community that they will influence and impact when they leave. Leave a lasting impact on humanity.
Send the message to the world that this movement is important to you. Help us build a system and method that is sustainable enough to continue to foster training, leadership opportunities, and spaces for queer, neurodivergent, and wound-holding people. Help us launch a movement that will continue to replicate into Cuntopia events around the world. We're so grateful for the time and energy you have taken to listen to our story. We love you, the Cuntopians.